Welcome, my friends. This is Mary Copeland again, and today is part of our first MaryCare series. This is focusing on knee health. So our knees, some of us have happier knees than others. Common problems with our knees, wear and tear from life, arthritis, bursitis, anything that ends in itis that the doctor tells you you have means there's inflammation going on and possibly deterioration. And also that is accompanied with pain often, and you might have a grinding sensation, you might have swelling in your knees, you might have irritation and just inability to move through a full range of motion. So all those things are difficult to manage when we want to maintain a healthy, active life. So today we're going to focus on how to work around those issues to build strength, build range of motion, meaning flexibility, in the muscles that cross and surround the knees without doing more harm, right? Now, people with arthritic knees, you're going to notice what the weather's doing. Your knees are probably your best weather guide, right? On a day like today that's humid but cool, or when the barometric pressure is very high, those can really affect all our joints. So today, again, we're focusing on the knees, and we also want to respect how they feel that day. Some days they may be inflamed and you don't want to do anything to aggravate them except maybe put on a little ice pack or a warm compress, whatever feels the best on your joints. And other days you can challenge yourself a little more. So today we're going to start, we want to sit forward on our chair, up nice and tall. So from the side you'll see when we sit tall, we're in a nice neutral spine with the lumbar spine forward, the cervical spine forward, so that's the lower back and neck, lifting and zipping through the belly, sitting right on our sits bones. Now we're forward on the front, and we're going to start with a simple straight leg lift. So when the leg is straight, that's called extended. When it's bent, it's called flexed. Those are the fitness terms for it, right? Anatomical terms. So here we are with our right leg straight, our left leg is bent, our foot is supporting us. We can also use the chair with a little support, continuing to press down through our sits bones, up through the spine. And as we exhale and lengthen, we're going to lift the leg and touch, reach out, lift, and touch, reach out, lift, and touch, reach out, lift, and touch. Tighten all those muscles around the kneecap as you go up and down, reach out, up and down, reach out, up and down. Slide the leg in, slide the other leg out. Again, my supporting leg, the foot is directly under the knee. The working leg, the one moving up and down, is nice and straight, and all those muscles around my kneecap are pulled up. But I'm also thinking simultaneously of lengthening my leg out of the hip socket. So I'm not grabbing, but I'm lengthening. Here we go. Zip up and lift, reach out and down. Reach out and down. I'm going to show you from the side. Reach out and down. Doesn't have to be high. Reach out and down. Feel those muscles lengthen. You're going to feel a work effort there. Up and down. Reach out. Up and down. Reach out. Up and down. Good. So I started with a basic 8 times on each side. You can increase that as you want to build up more strength. So that's the top muscles, the anterior muscles, the front of the legs, the quadriceps that we were just using. Now, let's do, because the hips are also active in this, it's very hard to just work one joint without working the joints that are right next to them. So we're just going to do a little march here to get everything moving, a little fluidity going through. And march and march and march and march and march and march. Good, you're going to feel your breathing get a little faster. Just nice and easy, easy swing of the arms. And stop. Good. Now we're going to work the back of the thigh, the hamstring, right? So the hamstring is responsible for bending the knee, right? The quadriceps straighten the knee, and the hamstring bends the knee and extends the hip also. So this exercise, we're going to, again, we're going to alternate legs for this one. So we take a big step out, planting the foot directly on the floor, and with a slight pressure down, you're going to drag your heel back using the friction against the floor. I have a rug here, which helps create a little more friction. So you want to feel, this is an unpleasant image, but as if you've got something nasty on the bottom of your shoe, and you're going to try to rub it off, right? So in New York City, on the sidewalks, many of us can imagine that and have experienced that. So it's a little easier, right? So your foot is down. Now you soften your knee and feel those muscles on the back of the thigh, pulling that heel back towards the chair. Lift up and lengthen the other leg. Drag that heel back, and zipping and lifting. While you do that, you can press down through the hands and lengthen up. Reach out, drag it in. Reach out, drag it in. If you're not feeling enough in the back of the thigh, you can press your foot down with a little more firmness. And out, drag back. Reach out, drag back. Reach out, and of course, while you do this, if you feel any stress in the knees, it's not worth it. Reach out, drag back, reach out, drag back. So it's a gentle engagement of those hamstrings, pulling the heel toward the chair. Remember to keep that heel on the floor, right? You have to have friction to make this work. Pull, reach out. Sometimes it takes a little practice to get the feel of it. Out, pull back. Reach out, pull back. I'm probably making my rug very unhappy by doing this, but it's worth it for everyone else. And come back, reach out, come back, reach out, come back. Let's do one more set. Reach out, come back, reach out, come back. Good. Now just relax those hip sockets a little bit. Good. And slide those legs out and just relax the legs here. Good. Good. Now we're going to bring those feet back directly under the knees again, and we're going to work our inner thigh muscles, which also cross the medial side of the knee. Now, if you happen to have a ball, as I do, you can use the ball between your knees, right? And we're going to create isometric resistance, pushing into the ball as we zip and lift through the spine, right? Press and press. If you do not have a ball or anything like a ball, you can use a pillow, fold it in half so it's a little more resistant, or I have a towel here. I've folded many times. I'm going to fold it a couple more times. So this way, it's a soft resistance. That basketball is a little firmer than I even like for me. So here again, you can press. You can see the towel getting compressed, right? Press, release, and I'm zipping and lifting. I'm also thinking about the muscles in my pelvic floor, tightening and lifting, which help get to those deeper abdominal muscles. Squeeze and lift. Exhale, squeeze, 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 lift. I'm lifting my belly and squeeze. Good. Did you feel those muscles in the inner thighs? Yes? Good. All right. Now, we're going to do the lateral muscles, the outer thigh. Now, I have a Dynaband. If you don't have a Dynaband at home, again, you can use the towel. So let me just show you quickly with the Dynaband. First, I'm going to do it with my knees bent. So you bring the knees together, and I pull it up. I've made it even on both sides. I'm going to tie a little bow, and it's between, it's not right down by my knees, but kind of in between, about a third of the way from my knee to my hip. And I'm going to tie a nice bow because these are a pain in the neck if you tie a knot. So I recommend a bow if you know how to tie bows, right? And so it will stay tied, but it'll be really easy to get apart. So now take the feet a little farther apart. Again, zip and lift through that belly, sitting tall. You can use this for support to keep your chest lifted. Press open. Press open into the band, press open. So this is the work all the way up by the hip. Press open, press open, press open, press open. Now I'm going to show you another version. We're going to take the right leg straight. We're going to lift it up slightly off the floor and press to the side. Press to the side. So a long lever from the foot to the hip. Now the quadriceps are also working the top of the thigh to hold the leg up. You're going to feel your hip muscles working as well. Push out, push out. Good, and come in. And I'm going to show you on the other side. Lift it up a little bit. If it's too much for you to hold the leg up, you can slide the leg across the floor while you do it, right? So you're still getting the lateral action in the thigh, and you still want to support the kneecap by tightening your quadriceps and the knee without the extra effort in the hip. right? So you can let that heel glide lightly across the floor. Good. Now, not everybody has Dynabands, so I'm going to show you the same thing again using a towel. Or if you have something like a tie or a firm scarf, not something that's super stretchy, you want something relatively firm. Let me put these down. So I'm going to take my handy dandy towel again. So I'm going to keep it long, but fold it up in 3 pieces. So now, again, I'm going to do that crisscross around my knees for the bent knee press, excuse me. Another thing I miss in this COVID quarantine time is not getting my hair cut, so I think we're all in the same boat with that. We press open. So you see, and it also works the arms a little bit, so I'm keeping my elbows tucked in and I'm pulling out with my hands slightly as my knees are trying to push my hands back together. Press out, so you get a little arm work here too, but don't forget to zip and lift, sitting tall. Press out, press out. Good, so that's the same thing as when you're using the band. You can also do the straight leg glide. Lift the leg up, reach, and reach. Now notice I'm not swinging my hips when I'm doing this. I'm just moving at the hip socket itself. Reach and reach, right? Or again, I'll show you the on the floor version, just gliding out on the floor, right? On the floor. But I feel it through here too, right? So it's working the outer thigh. So we did the top of the thighs, the inner thighs, the lateral, and the back with our heel drags, right? So these are the simple, completely non-weight bearing exercises. Now I'm going to show you a few standing weight bearing, but again, not with knee flexion, right? We're going to keep the knee extended fully. So let me put this down. I'm going to turn my chair sideways. And let's see, I may have to adjust the camera a bit. Let me move all these out of the way. So here we are. Now this is more easily reaching the back muscles of the back of the thigh. So my hands are on the chair. I'm going to let my chest pike forward, actually from my hips slightly. Tap my foot back, flex the foot, and lift, touch, lift, touch. So I'm working the hamstrings, working into the butt as well. Now, if this is too much to stand for this long, that's why I gave all the seated work, right? And then reverse it, other side, and up and down, up and down. You can do this starting with 8 times. If standing on your standing leg for 8 counts is too much, I suggest do 4, right? Do 4 times lifting and then switch. So you're always giving your standing leg a bit of a break. Now, our lateral movement, I'm going to face this way. You can still do it with both hands supporting and reaching out and up. But I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the leg action a little more, right? So we're going to reach out, low leg lifts, reach. Feel those muscles working. And again, if this standing hip is getting really unpleasantly fatigued or pained, by all means, switch regularly, right? So you can do 1, 2, come down, reach out, 1, 2, other leg, come down. So it's easy enough for you to control that, right? So I can't feel what your body's feeling. So you have to judge how much you can tolerate, standing on the leg or being off the leg, right? If you can do 8 to 10, that's great, all right? Now, front leg again. We can reach out and up, touch, reach out, lift, and again, how is this standing leg doing? We are loading our standing hip, absolutely, and we're working our quadriceps, right, across the knee and across the hip, right? Good. Now again, you feel free to switch legs. You can lift up, down, up, come through, up, down, up, come through. So no standing leg gets too fatigued or in pain, right? You have a lot more transitions to deal with when you do that. But if that's what you need to do to be able to do more repetitions, then that is what your focus should be. All right? Now, we're going to come back to the chair again for some stretches now. So, coming to the chair, our hamstrings, the back of the thigh, we're going to stretch it out. We're going to support ourselves with our hands on our opposite thigh. Lift up through the spine and coming forward, hinging at the hips. This knee is staying supported and lifted as we hinge. I'll show you from the side. Be at the front of your chair. You can also hold on to the side of your chair as you do this, if that is more stable for you. Always pick the most stable option for yourself. That's the most important thing, right? We don't want any accidents coming off the chair or discomfort in your spine in any way. Lift up and through, right? Holding this for at least 10 seconds, right? We're going to do the other side as well. Lifting up and lengthening and holding for at least 10 seconds. Now I am rushing through this because I want you to see all the options available when you do this workout. And then you can just pause me if you have the picture close by. You can pause me and say, oh, I really feel this. I need to stay in that for a bit and keep doing it. Or you can repeat. If you can only tolerate 5 seconds on one side, 5 seconds on the other side. Go back to the first side again. 5 seconds and 5 seconds, right? And as I've said before in my videos, it's important to when you're stretching, to stretch the side that's more willing first, right? So if you know this one is always grumpy about stretching, do the other side first. It's like, oh, I don't mind this so much. And then when it comes to the more grumpy side, they'll say, oh, all right, I understand what you want. I know it's good for me. I'll cooperate. All right, so sometimes we have partners that are like that too. And these two are partners, all right? So you have to figure out the best way to make them both happy, right? Now we're gonna do our hip stretch. So again, we wanna get into a position where the hip is gonna be most cooperative. Now those muscles cross the knee. So we're gonna cross our ankle, slide up as far as we can, let the knee fall open as best you can. Now, if this is as far as you can go and you're up here, that's fine. And then you come forward a bit. Again, from the side, you can see I'm lifting up out of my pelvis and folding at the hip socket. And you're going to feel that stretch through here and around. Okay? Good. Now, again, you want to hold it for at least 10 seconds if you can, and perhaps work your way up to 30 seconds eventually. When you hold it for a more sustained amount of time, you're going to have more lasting stretch. That's the benefit of doing it for that long, where it actually gets carried over in a more continuous way into your body and your work, right? So we're going to do the other leg. Remember, cross low. Now, you may have one leg that you can't bring up at all, and then you just fold from here, right? And I'm still getting a little stretch back there. Good. And then there's our inner thighs. We want to take a nice wide stance, sit forward on our chair. Again, make sure your seat's on well. Hands to the thighs, lift up and open the chest again, folding deep at the hip sockets. Feel that stretch in those inner thighs. Good. And bring those legs together. To stretch the top of the thighs, we're going to turn sideways on our chair. Front leg down, back leg. The stretching leg is on the floor, gliding back as far, oh, I got so much lint on me from my towel. Lift up, lift up. So you're going to feel that stretch through the thigh, through the hip, up and through, and let's take a big reach up for this. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And come down, and the other side. Again, I'm not holding it as long as you should be holding it, because there's so much information I want to get to you. So again, I've got my one cheek on the chair, sliding the back foot on. I'm going to hold the back of the chair. You can hold the top of the chair or the back seat to keep yourself stable. Sliding the foot as far back as you can to feel the stretch, but not, again, to feel stress in the knee, right? This stretch, the more you flex the knee as you're stretching the quadriceps, the more stress you're putting on the knee. So I'm doing this stretch in a very open knee, right? A very open angle. It's pretty much a 90-degree angle in the knee. But then you've got to press through the hips more to get the stretch in the thigh, right? Because these quadriceps, some of them cross the hip and the knee. Good. All right. And I always like to finish off with a nice tall body sit. We're going to sit down, lengthen up. Up, lengthen, lengthen, take a big breath in. And release and come down. And inhale, take a big breath in, lift, lift, lift. And release and come down. And inhale, take a big breath up. Lift, lift, lift. And open, open, open. Good. Thank you. That's how to get stronger knees without stressing the joints. Keep it up. It's something to do every day if you've got unhappy knees. And it will help you with your function. When you're standing, when you're walking, you need that muscle strength to support the joint. So then the joint won't be grinding away as much. The more the muscle supported, the less stress on the joint itself. So keep working. If you have questions, leave me comments on my YouTube page, and I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. Take care. Until next time.